There is no Sunny and Jen without Sunny. I don't care if you're a fan of Peloton. That's not what this is. This is Sunny and Jen, and there is no Sunny and Jen without what Sunny brings. But in terms of keeping this on track about friendship, if you don't have friends that do what Sunny and I do for each other, you got to find some new friends.
Welcome to Dear Nina, conversations about friendship. I am your host, Nina Badzin. I have been writing about friendship since 2014. That's over 10 years ago. Wow, it's starting to be a long time. Podcasting about it since 2021. It is a topic that I am engrossed in all the time. If you don't know how TikTok works, which is a lot of you, TikTok feeds you information that you already are interested in, or it learns what you're interested in. Listen, I'm not going to even try to explain it because I barely understand it myself. I just know that TikTok knows that I like friendship content. And so when Jenn Sherman and Pam Sunshine, two longtime friends over 40 years, came on the scene with their massive account, Sunny and Jenn, that's at Sunny and Jenn, both have two N's in there, TikTok fed it to me right away. I became an absolute fan of these two best friends. I didn't even know at the time that Jenn Sherman was a major Peloton star at Peloton for over 10 years. I didn't know anything about her best friend, Pam Sunshine, who she calls Sunny. And really all of us who watch Sunny and Jenn on their accounts on Instagram and TikTok refer to her as Sunny in comments. So we're like, Sunny, where's those pants from? She has been in the fashion world in some capacity for over 30 years. These two are so much fun. And if you don't know them and you just go check out either of the accounts on Instagram or TikTok at Sunny and Jenn, I think you'll see why I'm so into them. They have such a supportive and wonderful friendship. They really cheer each other on. You will hear in this episode how they met. And it wasn't when they were young kids. I mean, they were young. They were around 18, 19, but they weren't neighbors growing up from the time they were 5 years old or anything. Their story has so much advice in it. Just the way their friendship built has advice woven within, because it's like everything I've ever talked about on this podcast, that proximity matters, that scheduling matters, that showing up for the good times, not just the bad times, matters. Cheering your friend on, being the first to be excited for them and making that clear and not letting your friend wonder. They are so overtly proud of each other. They tell each other. And one other thing I want to comment on, they use the word luck a lot. And I just want to challenge them on that for a second. I didn't get a chance to do it right in the episode, so I'm going to do it now. And hopefully if they hear this, they will agree. It is not just luck. Of course, there's some luck because they had a friend in common who put them together. And it's lucky that their friend chose to do that. But in terms of growing the friendship, that is beyond luck. They both put a lot of hard work into staying in touch, spending time together, putting time on the schedule, even once they had kids, even when they both have been pursuing completely different and very busy full-time careers, marriages, and other friends that they share, other friends they have on their own, to be able to maintain a long-standing friendship for over 40 years. It is beyond luck. And you have to be putting some skin in the game. There's no other way around it. And they really did the work, and they have been enjoying the fruits of that work. They are wonderful role models for anybody who's hoping to build a friendship. And of course, everybody's different. Nobody has the same situation, but you will get some takeaways for how you could even come into a new friendship with a different kind of attitude. We talk about confrontation and dealing with issues in a friendship. We really get to it all. I hope you enjoy the two of them as much as I have. Let's get to it. Hello, Jenn Sherman and Pam Sunshine. Welcome to Dear Nina.
Thank you for having us.
I'm a long time fan. I have been watching you two on social media since soon after you were discovered. I'm going to have you tell your discovering story, how you were discovered. But one thing that might be amusing for listeners who are big Peloton people to know is that I'm not a Peloton person. I am a workout person. It's not like I don't know about Peloton. Several of my friends are, and they were super excited that I'd be talking to you, Jenn. But the truth is, I discovered you at the same time that I discovered your best friend, Pam.
I love that, by the way. You're not the first. And I love when people actually say, I don't even have a Peloton. You know, I follow Sunny and Jen, and I discovered you that way. It's great.
For people who aren't on TikTok, they don't quite understand that that algorithm is brilliant. So the second you two kind of came on the scene, like TikTok's like, oh, Nina's going to want this. They were right. I was hooked immediately. Now it's like Instagram too and everything. What we're going to do is I want to hear about how you met. Then we're going to hear about how this Sunny and Jenn came about. But then we're going to go back and actually go a lot deeper into what makes a friendship last as long as yours has lasted. Who would like to start the friendship meet cute? How did it start?
So to make a very, very long story short, my best friend from college is Jenn's best friend from high school.
One of my best guy friends from high school and growing up, Sonny went to college with him. Take it from there, Sonny.
Apparently, as Jenn likes to say, her best friend goes to college and all she hears about is Pam this and Pam this and my best friend Pam and Pam and Pam and Pam and Pam. So finally it's Thanksgiving and everyone, comes to New York and they all go out the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And Jenn is so excited to meet the infamous Pam. Because Jimmy's like, Pam's going to be where you are. You got to find it out. So she allegedly comes up to me and is like, oh my God, it's Jenn. And I apparently was like, oh, hi.
Wait, so you guys are like 18, 19 in this story?
Yes. I'm a year older than Jenn.
And you grew up in Florida, Pam.
I grew up in Florida. I went to school in DC at American. So I was a freshman. Jenn was still home in high school.
Oh, got it. Okay, I can understand.
So
You're like,
she's
for high
all
school
excited.
Kid. Yeah.
She's friends with the older kids, whatever. And her older best friend has this new best friend.
This was my older best friend who had left and also gone off to college. We were still so close. So it was like, how's everything going at school? I knew everything about what was going on with him. Every other freaking day was Pam this and you would love her. And I've got this best friend and then you two would be best friends. So guess what? It was time to finally meet in person. And I was actually looking forward to it.
What's his name? Your common friend?
Jimmy.
I call him James Roy as a funny little joke, but it's Jimmy. We grew up in New Jersey together. Pam, does it matter that even though you grew up in Miami, your dad lived up in New Jersey? So that's why
My dad lives in Fort Lee, where they all went to high school. We did have a lot of overlap. I was going to my dad's for Thanksgiving.
I just want to highlight Jimmy for a second because he did something extremely generous here, which I do wonder sometimes, it's this horrible thing to say, but I'm just going to say it, if it had been a girl that was friends with both of you that lived in New York or, was coming home to New York, would that person, we don't know, it's just like a thought experiment, would that person have been generous enough to say, hey, I think you two would get along? I do that a lot.
Never.
I'm a connect. Some do, some don't.
I like my friends to be friends. I think
Same.
It's amazing, but I'm thinking if you did like a little poll, I think the percentage would be very low.
So Jimmy gets a lot of props here for being completely like a generous spirit who was like, you know what, I have room. It's an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset that Jimmy said, I love Jenn, I love Pam, they'll love each other, and there's still room for me no matter what.
Yes, and he is fully responsible. And another fun fact about Jimmy, even though this has really nothing to do with friendship, Jimmy also introduced me to my husband.
Yeah, Jimmy's a gem.
Just for the hat trick, my sister and Jenn were roommates in college. That was a coincidence.
That was a coincidence.
I didn't set them up.
Well, was it? It depends the way you look at the world.
I don't believe in coincidences.
That being said, when I was finally growing up and I was on my way to leave for Syracuse, New York as a freshman in college, Jimmy 1,000% said to me, it happened a year later, it's not important, the timing, you've got to look out for Pam's sister. It was a lot there. Do you know what I mean? I looked out for her. I loved her. We pledged the same sorority. And then we wound up being roommates later on.
Wow. It all circles back to Jimmy.
Then you finally met in person, and I assume you didn't start talking on the phone immediately. And obviously, this is pre-smartphone. Actually getting to know somebody was not so quick. Nowadays, it'd be like, oh, can I have your Snap? Like if your kids were meeting somebody at a bar that they wanted to be friends with, they would exchange all that, and it would happen quite quickly. This is like probably dependent on you coming back to New York all the time. Pam.
I would go to Syracuse to visit my sister, so I would see Jenn there.
That's
Then
the friendship started.
Really, we became very close. We had so much in common. My sister, a very generous person, was like, oh my God, I love it that you love my roommate. My sister's a year younger than Jenn. Jenn graduates college. But even when Jenn was in college, I had moved to the city because I graduated. She would come to New York City on the weekends and come stay with me. And over the summers, she would stay with me. And that's how the friendship really took off because we spent so much time together.
Like you were saying, this was not instant. From the first time I met Pam on that sidewalk, this is several years go by of several crazy things happening. Me becoming so close with her sister that she becomes my roommate. Jimmy brought us together initially, but it doesn't come together for several years. And it's not until I finally graduated college and I'm now living in Fort Lee with my parents because I didn't move right to New York like a lot of people did. I took time to find a job. I was living at home. This one was living in the city. And I was spending every single weekend on her couch. So we spent all of our young single years together in New York City. And that's where it really solidifies
It was
here.
every weekend.
This tracks with relationship science so perfectly. And I don't know if you've ever heard this statistic, but it takes about 200 hours to become close friends, fewer hours to become decent friends. Like you might, maybe it's 50 to 60 hours just to like feel like you kind of are more than just an acquaintance. 200 hours is a close friend. Think about how that tracked perfectly.
Oh, geez. I mean,
Yeah.
it does make perfect sense. We were then share houses together over the summers. And this friendship just.
And then those hours rack up. Okay, you get married, you have kids. We're going to come back to some of this piece of how the friendship grew, maybe where things, I don't want to say weren't perfect, but were just actually, you have real life in the way. I want to fast forward all the way to the big Sonny and Jenn moment, because that is how a lot of people know you. And then it's funny, the episode right before this will have been a deep analysis with two professors on the movie Beaches. And what sometimes people have a struggle with that movie, I love it, obviously. And I actually think it's a masterclass in friendship because they do fight and they do make up. When people only know a relationship on social media, it might seem like a certain thing. And so we're going to have the opportunity to discuss that. But okay, business. Fast forwarding to business. Let's go straight to Palm Beach. You are friends now, decades by this time. What happens?
So it's not unusual at all in this friendship. Spending time together is what really helps blossom a friendship, right? But Pam and I for years have been taking that to the next level. And we very strongly believe in a girls' trip. Not just with each other, we take them with our girlfriends. I just got back from one this weekend. We're taking another one in a couple of months. But Pam and I always in these last, I would say this last 10 years, we've tried to really make time to get away and have some real girl time. So we were on one of our girl trips, just the two of us. We were down in Fort Lauderdale. We were going to Palm Beach for the evening. And we were walking down the street in Palm Beach. We got stopped by a woman who essentially was interviewing us. Excuse me. Can I speak to the two of you for a second? What are you both wearing? You both look fabulous. Pam and I didn't ask a lot of questions. We kind of just started answering.
She's recording and we didn't ask one question.
We don't even ask her who she is and why.
It was bizarre.
She was adorable.
It's amazing you stopped.
It was, it was so
It
natural.
sounds strange now when we tell the story because looking back on it, it's so weird. We didn't ask any questions and we kind of just answered her. Pam's like, oh, well, I'm wearing this, and this, and these are my Amazon glasses, and I'm wearing these jeans and this sweater. And then she looked over at me and she was like, and what are you wearing? And I was like, I don't even know what I'm wearing, which is very typical for me. I'm like, Sonny, what kind of jeans are these? Sonny answers for me like she does very often. It was just that simple. It was a 5-minute conversation on a street. Was it Worth Avenue, Pam? Where were we?
It was Worth Avenue.
We were on our way to dinner. When the little conversation ended, she was kind of like, thanks, guys. You guys are adorable. Have fun tonight. Enjoy your dinner. Like that was it. We didn't think, all we were thinking about was food and getting to dinner, if I'm being quite honest. Cut to a couple months later, 2 or 3 months later, Pam gets a phone call from her younger daughter, Alex, saying, Mom, you and Auntie Jenn are going viral. You're all over my For You page. Pam, I'll let you tell how you responded back to that.
Which I answer, I'm like, what's your For You page?
Right. Like
We
you're a
didn't have
total
TikTok.
newbie.
We didn't have TikTok. I didn't know. I said, Alice, I don't know what you're talking about. Mom, you're everyone's For You page. I still don't know what that is. She's like, it's on TikTok. And at that point, Carly had called Jenn. I was like, Mom, I'm getting all these calls. And then my phone starts blowing up. Jen's phone starts blowing up. The video ended up getting 17 million views.
Wow.
Of just the two of us walking down the street talking about what we were wearing. So as it turns out, let's just back up for a second.
Yes, yeah.
This very nice girl that stopped us on the street, she has a TikTok channel called
Class of Palm Beach.
She stops everyone that's walking down the street that looks, I guess, half decent. I don't even know, half dressed. She has a following on TikTok. It's funny that there was such a lapse that this interview took place in April and it didn't end up on her TikTok. I don't know why, maybe she gets so much content. She pushed it back and then threw it up whenever she threw it up. Never know.
Maybe we were just filler. Maybe she didn't have anything. We don't really look like, we're not the typical people she's interviewing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I kind of remember like cute white jeans. You guys are so cute. Like you had
right, but she was interviewing people that dress very different than us. So we were not her normal subject.
Very, very fancy designer, more mature women with diamonds everywhere. Like we're not that. I mean, we can rock a pair of jeans pretty well in our 50s, but so that's why the content looks a little different. But it didn't go up on her TikTok for several months. It blows up. I knew that something was really happening when I walked into work that next day. And I walked into the green room where we get ready, where I would see my co-instructors. And one of my amazing co-instructors, I walk in the door and she was like, what is going on with you on TikTok? You are viral, girl. Do you see what's happening? That's when I knew that it was like kind of nutty. Then I was like, maybe I should really pay attention to this and take a look at what's happening here. And that's kind of how it started. It went on for days. You know how TikTok can be. It was just rolling. It wouldn't stop. It was blowing up. It was more the comments, what people were writing under the post. When you get millions of views, you get hundreds and hundreds. There's probably thousands of comments there now at this point. The comments were so wild, supportive, amazing. You could tell we were hearing from women and girls of all ages, because there were the 20-something-year-olds being like, oh my gosh, who are these two badasses? 50-year-old goals. This is going to be us
goals.
when we're 50.
Yes.
There was goals, hashtag goals all over the place. So many women like us or not like us that were saying, these two are so relatable. They're so funny. I wish I had a best friend like this. It was the comments that made us think and evaluate, should we maybe try to put up another video and see what happens? Which is exactly what we did. We made a second video shortly thereafter.
First, you had to create the name. So how did that get decided?
You're right.
And this wasn't the name.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, what was it first?
Okay, so because I really am not great on social media, I was really going through the struggles of being a Peloton instructor and figuring out how to really use social the way I needed to. A dear friend of mine, her name is Lindsay Pinchuk. After we went viral, I knew my friend Lindsay would be able to help me with what was going on, make sense of it all, really. When it blew up, I picked up the phone a day or two later and I called Lindsay and said, we're going viral on TikTok. I don't even know what TikTok is. What do we do? Should we make a TikTok? Should we open one? And should we put up another video? We did skip that part of the story. Good
Yes.
Good catch. And she was like, absolutely. You are making a TikTok today. And I'm like, what are we calling it? And I said, do you like Pam and Jenn? Do you like Sunny and Sherm?
That's kind of cute.
We love Sunny and Sherm. Lindsay was like, it sounds like a pet account.
Shout out to Lindsay Pinchuk, dear founder. She was like, no, you're not using Sunny and Sherm. How about Sunny and Jenn? She's like, and if it doesn't stick, if you don't like it, you can always change it like a month from now. I guess when you create a name, you can't change it right away. We did make this account. I didn't even know how to do it. My, at the time, 15-year-old nephew, I was away in Nantucket. He made it for me. He opened up the account. And then when I got back home from Nantucket, Pam came over and we made our second video. And we put it up on our brand new account. And we explained to the people that we had just gone viral, and we told our story of walking down the street in Palm Beach. And then that video went viral.
That's the video that found me, not the original. Then I saw the original after because, you know, it links to it down at the bottom. What year are we in? 2023?
This happened in 2023. It's been 2 years.
Can you guys believe how much has happened in 2 years?
No.
It's like where the power of social media can be used for good instead of evil. Obviously, it goes both ways. This is a good one because people like to see something positive. They actually do. It gives me hope in humanity. People see a friendship of two women in their 50s who are doing life together but have their own lives too and are successful. People like it. They're cheering you on.
They have been amazing. Yes. That's how it blew up. It was reaction, just like you described, which is what prompted us to continue making these videos and with no expectation, right? With no expectation. That's
zero.
We didn't know what we were doing technically. We didn't know what we were going to talk about, but we just said, let's give this a whirl. It's now 2+ years later and it's monetized into a business. Don't get into business with your friends is a very well-known thing. But for us, it has been just amazing.
But we've also said to each other, and we've said it numerous times, if this ever doesn't feel right for one of us, if our friendship comes first and this goes away, and it's been a great ride. And we have both been on the same page with that from the get-go. Every once in a while, we say it to each other.
We're not willing to let anything get in the way of our friendship. This will go away by the end of this interview, if we even thought that there was a threat of that.
You're smart. You're riding the wave while it's fun. I know both of you have other jobs, and I assume that if this ever stops being fun, in all ways, fun for the friendship and just like fun in a challenging way. Cause I know there's challenges, but good challenges. I actually have this
Yes.
myself with the podcast and certain techie things and all kinds of stuff. I did my first live speaking thing over the summer, and I know you guys have done speaking things. Those challenges are so good for us. It's like good for the brain to like push yourself to do
Yes.
new things. And I see you guys are speaking. How do you decide where to go? How's that working?
Lindsay Pinchuk. It's really her podcast, like on the road.
And it's her believing in us. It's her seeing, something
Yes.
that really was working. It's not this massive world. We're not the Rolling Stones. It's not this massive worldwide tour or anything. We're hitting Florida the beginning of December, and that will be the 5th show. And I don't know if there's more shows to come, but that has been really great. I'm used to speaking in public. I spend a lot of time on camera doing what I do for my day job. It has been so amazing watching Sunny walk out on stage to like a packed house and like forget about getting out of your comfort zone, like getting out of your comfort zone and crushing it.
It's been amazing. This was a very, very new space for me. In our first show, literally we were getting ready to walk on stage and I
Had a panic
attack. I was like, holy crap, like what is going on here? And how did I get here? And I knew there was no turning back and my throat got dry. And she looked at me and she's like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. She was like my security blanket. And I was like, I have to do this. And this is how we do grow. But it's easy to grow when you have a best friend beside you, your biggest cheerleader saying, you can do this and I believe in you, or like none of this would be happening. It's been amazing. Now I'm like a pro.
Yeah.
And now it's really fun. I'm not scared anymore. It's scary. I don't speak in front of people.
I don't know if you two realize as much as I do. Well, you probably do because you're getting certain kinds of comments. A lot of what I hear about are people who feel their friends are there for them in hard times. The real struggle seems to be friends who show up for happy things. The way that you cheerlead each other should not be taken for granted. I'm not saying you do, but like if listeners out there, if you have a friend like that who really, like with the way you said it, Jen, how much you get joy and pride out of seeing other people react to Pam, who you call Sunny. Not everybody has that in them. And it kind of goes back to the Jimmy, what I was saying about Jimmy and the generosity he had and me kind of questioning, would a woman, common friend, have done the same thing? And I would like to say many would, but many wouldn't, because there's that scarcity thing. You're being happy for Pam. I know Pam has to have been cheering you on all these years too, as like you've risen Peloton and in your career. Like I just know that.
That was my, and don't get mad at me for saying this, Jen.
Yeah.
Jen was the friend when she graduated college. She didn't want to work. She was the friend who called in sick on Mondays and Fridays. She was that person. She tried to get me to do it with her. And I'm like, nah, that's not, I don't do that. The minute she got pregnant, she quit her job. So fast forward, she finds spinning. She's so passionate about it. She becomes a teacher locally. She's exploding and I'm super proud of her. But when the whole Peloton piece happened, she made all this magic happen for herself. Nobody helped her. The real moment, Jen, I don't know if you remember this, was it when you met Eddie Vedder and you met Howard Stern and you met Bruce Springsteen. Through Peloton, she was able to meet them up close and personal. And I said to her after each one of these, I'm so proud of you. You did this all on your own. Nobody helped you. Like, I hope you're so proud of yourself, because as a friend, I was like, look at you. And I really do mean that. And I'm so proud of her.
People only really knew what a miracle it is. That's the best part. No one even knows.
Because she found something that she loved and she was so passionate about it and she was so good at it. And when you find something that you really love, it's not work.
Part of what we talk about on stage. I wasn't passionate about a lot of things until I found what I was passionate about. It changed my life. Just circling back quickly to you bringing up the point of me saying how much joy it brings me when people recognize Sunny on the street, because I do. And I love seeing her do her thing and people loving it. I am fiercely defensive of Sunny. Not that I have to defend her often, but I'm like, forget about me. Sunny and Jen is about Sunny. She brings it all. She brings the fashion, brings the Sunnyisms. She's the one that knows how to cook. She's the one that knows how to garden. I don't know how to do anything.
She tells us what to buy at Trader Joe's. Like I'm like, oh, Sunny said this was a good cracker. Okay, I'm going to get it.
Correct. There is no Sunny and Jen without Sunny. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't care if you're a fan of Peloton. That's not what this is. This is Sunny and Jen, and there is no Sunny and Jen without what Sunny brings. But in terms of keeping this on track about friendship, if you don't have friends that do what Sunny and I do for each other, you got to find some new friends, or you got to cut some ties. Especially, I think, as you get older and you're starting to move through these different phases of life, boy, doesn't all this stuff become so much more crystal clear. It's one thing when we're all running around in our 20s and our 30s and we don't even know what we're doing. When you get to a place where life feels just so sacred and fragile as it does now, being the age that we are, not that we don't have a lot of life to live left, because God willing we do, but come on, there's no time for that. Fewer friends, but quality friends.
You know what I say? Addition by subtraction.
I'm going to say a hard truth to add to that. People talk a lot, I know you guys see it too on the internet and social media, about subtracting, about toxic friends and narcissists and all this, and all those words come up a lot. One thing that's really important, you first have to be the kind of friend, like it is our individual responsibility to be the kind of friend that cheers on your friends. It starts with you. Like it really does. You guys might be a chicken egg situation. It's hard to know which one of you like quickly and first demonstrated this kind of support. And you might both be like that anyway, but sometimes in a friendship, like I'm talking about other friends now, other dynamics, it just takes one person in the pair to make it clear, like, hey, this is how we are. This is how this dynamic's going to be. It has to start with you though. The letters, the Dear Nina, it's my friend doesn't do this for me. My friend doesn't do that. My friend doesn't like my social media posts. I got a lot about that, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, well, okay, first, what are you doing as a friend? What tone have you set? I'm really into your own behavior is really the only thing we can control. And then, yes, if you do all the things and your friend just like never can meet you there, I agree with you guys. More quality friends.
Maybe
Friends
you pull
change
back.
and friends,
Maybe it starts to
you
look
pull
different.
back, and that's okay. You don't have to totally cut them off, but maybe you spend less time, or people who maybe you'd love traveling with, you don't love traveling with them anymore, and that's okay. You make adjustments.
Different friend for different reasons. And
Yes.
I'm sure you must talk about this. This theme has to come up constantly, I would imagine, with the women that you talk to when you're talking about female friendship. It's really hard to describe really special female friendship, isn't it? It's a unique and special relationship, unlike any other. And I really believe that. I go back to saying, I may not have dozens and dozens of friends, close friends. I am just fine with that. I'd rather have the quality over the quantity. I feel like I know a lot of people, or should I say a lot of people feel like they know me, but who do I really let in? Who's really going to be standing at the graveside of that funeral for someone that I love dearly? It's a very small amount of people. And I feel okay about that. I don't need to have a million friends. I just want the ones that I have to be great. I expect a lot, but I know that I really do try to give a lot. And that's important.
Yes. I want to move on to something else. So we're going to go back in time a little bit. There was a period of time where you weren't empty nesters, where careers were at a different stage, where you maybe didn't have as much control over your time. Making time. And this is what I'm trying to get people to understand is like the work it takes to stay friends, because I actually believe very much that we can always make new friends, and it's important to allow yourself to have new parts of you matched with new friends. But the skill set it takes to actually have a long-standing friendship, as long as you guys, almost 40 years, right?
More.
No,
Yeah, 40.
Yeah. People want that so badly. And that's why I want to go back in time a little bit, because getting to 40 plus years took some things. And I know that there's no way that every single second was perfect. There were times you were super busy with life. Let's talk about making time, balancing with other friends. I'm sure there's people jealous of this friendship. Maybe that's too hard to talk about, but
Going back, so I don't know if you know this, Jen and I have kids who are the exact same age. We had the same due date with our first kids.
oh my God, I knew they were around the same age. I could tell, but I didn't know that.
I mean, I can picture it perfectly, Jen, sitting on my couch, and she goes, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, I have something to tell you. And she goes, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, so am I. And she's like, let's say our due dates at the same time. And she goes, 1, 2, 3. And we go, May 31st.
Yep. It wasn't planned. It was just, obviously, that would be scary.
Obviously, it was planned. That'd be weird. It was not planned. So having kids the same age was really great because we'd do a lot of things together with the kids. I remember when our little ones were very little. Jen, remember we used to take them to the river pond for lunch. We would do anything to kill time. Jen wasn't working. I was still working. And Fridays was my day off and my day at home. We would always have plans that day. We would do beach days with the kids. And then as the kids got older, and they would be at camp, even with our jobs, we would always make our beach days in the summer. We would go away for long weekends. We would do girls' trips, and we always celebrated birthdays, not just with us, but all our other friends. There was always a big birthday dinner, whose ever birthday it was, no matter how many kids you had, the husband, the babysitter, you arranged that. And we had a lot of friends, and there was a lot of birthdays.
Something I feel like it wouldn't be fair not to mention. For women out there who crave a friendship like this or wish that they had a friendship like this, we both recognize we're really lucky. We live 5 minutes away from each other. I've heard from so many women who have witnessed our friendship saying, I've got close friends and they live across the country. So we know that we have a leg up on that. We don't live in the same town. I just want to let everyone know that because people are curious about that. But we live one town away from each other. It takes me 10 minutes on a bad day to get to Pam's house and 7 minutes on a good day if I'm not stuck behind a train or something.
Like I walk to Jen's house.
No, it's huge. All the stuff that research says about friendship has been true for the two of you, but people can learn from it. So proximity is huge. I mean, it's not just like a throwaway that actually, again, remember we talked about the 200 hours. I mean, how do you think you get to those hours? You have to live by people. But you can backtrack that, meaning if you're feeling in your life like you don't have a person that you can see a lot, I mean, you start from there. I tell people when they're trying new things, like let's say they go to a pickleball class and they really hit it off with someone. The truth is, if that person lives 45 minutes away, even 30 minutes away,
not realistic.
Look else. Like this is, you don't have time for that. You need to find the pickleball person who lives 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes you just have to reverse it and say, I'm looking for someone who lives close. And then the other textbook thing you guys have done, those Fridays when your kids were young that you took off together. Again, this is not a throwaway thing. Scheduling is actually the key.
Even to this day, Pam says if we don't put it in the book, if we don't plan it, we're not going to do it.
I am a big scheduler, and we would say like, oh my God, the weather looks great this year. So you want to go to the beach? We still even do that now. But with the kids, we're like, oh, it's apple picking season. I would be like, what are you doing Sunday? You want to take the kids apple picking? And we did so many things with the kids, which was really great.
But it was on us as we were entering that stage where we both were settled down in a suburb. We both had lived in New York City. We moved out to the suburbs. We wound up, 10 minutes away from each other. That's all great. And the onus is on you to go out there and make some other friends, though. So we did have each other. It's like having your best friend and your wingman, but we both made other great friends. Our friend group was this large. We kind of all coexisted. A lot of that is still intact. Some of that has changed because that does happen over years, as we know, for better or for worse. And we're still so close with so many of our friends that we met when our children were all in baby class together. And we make an effort. We really make an effort to try to keep up with those friendships. You have to make an effort. It's not going to happen on its own.
You cannot wish a friendship into existence. You can't be like, oh, I wish I had a friend like that.
You have to reach out. I mean, every Monday, it's this group that we have. There's like 5 of us. And it's like, who's around for coffee this week? And we do that a lot. And the other day, Jen was meeting a friend of ours. I'm like, I'm only around for a half hour. But guess what I did? I went there for the half hour.
Stop by.
I hope people are taking this in. It's making the plans. It's putting it in the calendar. It's showing up, not flaking out all the time. Obviously, things happen, but it's showing up most of the time. It really is basic like that.
No one says, I don't feel like coming to coffee. I'm not coming. It's because you have something else. Right, Jen?
Sure, because I think that circles back to having quality friends.
And we love it. And it's so much, you catch up. We also were in the phase of our life. We were becoming empty nesters when COVID happened. And I really, really missed the in-person with friends. I mean, we did some crazy stuff, lawn chairs in front of each other's houses with glasses of wine, anything to see each other, walks outside. But the socialization, that was really hard. I am a social person. I don't really even want to talk on the phone. I want to see you in person. I love that. If I love you, I want to like hug you and kiss you and like this.
That's beautiful. 2 more things. Well, 3. Are your husbands friends?
Our husbands are friends.
That's helpful.
It is helpful, but life has changed a lot for all of us. And our kids, Jen has a boy and a girl. I have 2 girls. So when the kids got a little older, they get very involved with sports and they have a different life. My husband travels a lot for work and our husbands have different interests and stuff. They're like family. We've been around each other for so long and been through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And to be totally transparent.
They spend a ton of time alone on their own, but together it's like family.
It's family. It's been so many years.
My husband doesn't golf. They're like little things, but it's all, but our families feel like family.
Yes. It's family. Like my kids, it's Auntie Jen.
Yes. I caught that earlier. Pam. It was beautiful.
That's what it is. Like, hi, Aunt Pam. And that is just like
the best.
It's trickled down to our kids. Our kids, while they might not see each other all the time or speak to each other, like when we did our show, apparently there was a group chat going on with the 4 of them making fun of us.
I'm sure, right? That's,
We were dying. And I love that my older daughter was at the show. So she sent a video clip in a group chat with them. And then they were laughing, and then we read and we were laughing. And I was like, this is a gift.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a gift.
We're going to get to the most important part in the final question. When there's an issue, it comes up because friendships are made up of human beings. Even best friendships are made up of two people who are human and therefore imperfect. So of course, these things are going to come up. You're still friends 40 years later. So obviously you've handled it. What is the key to getting through that? You bring it up. What do you let go?
Communication, another Sunnyism. If you sweep it under the rug, you know what you end up with? A really lumpy rug. A lumpy rug. It doesn't go away. I always say to Jen, I've been saying it for years, and sometimes she's probably ready to punch me in the face.
Never.
There are so many things in life that we can't control, but you can control saying to a friend, I didn't like when you did that. You hurt my feelings. But if you're not going to say that, then shame on you. And then you end up being resentful. And it builds up and it doesn't go away. And then something silly happens, and that's the straw that broke the camel's back. And then you're so upset, not about that, but about something else. You have to say to your friends, I love you so much, but I didn't like when you did that. And I do that. I really do that.
I don't want it to sound like to your viewers that unrealistic. We've had things over 40 years.
Of course we've.
I'm going to be really honest. I don't remember the last one. It's been years since we've had a hard conversation.
This must be 10 years ago.
Sonny's surgery.
There was something going on with us.
I remember when I forgot Sonny's surgery. Was it that when he had?
Oh no, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But all I know is that I think I was upset with Jenn about something. So what I used to do.
Big shot. Tell him.
What I used to do, and I don't do it anymore, when I was upset about something, I would not take the person's phone calls, and I would be very distant, and I would be very cold.
Most people do that. That's extremely common.
She showed up on my driveway.
Jen, I love this.
I came over.
Do you remember?
You were like, we're not doing this.
She showed up on my driveway. She's like, you're not taking my phone calls.
Drove to her house. I had a pit in my stomach. When you think you've hurt a friend or let down a friend, if you don't feel awful about it, there's also something wrong. And I couldn't take one more day of her not answering my calls. Again, very lucky because of our location that I was able to do that. Not everyone can do that. I got in the car and I drove to her house and I banged down her front door. And that was how
and
that
said,
happened.
you know what, you're not going to, because I can't talk, or I'd be very short. And I'm not proud of that behavior. And I realized, who is benefiting from that? Nobody. Because I was sick about it, that I was having to be this way. And you're going to make up, right?
Yes.
You're not going to stay in a fight forever. So like, why waste that time? And
I say that all the time.
The older you get
to it.
The time is so precious.
Yes.
So now it's like, you know what? I didn't like when you did that. I can't even.
Listen, that's just a beautiful little sidebar that it doesn't really happen often with us, but we know how to handle it if it does.
We tell each other, no, I don't want to do that, or I'm not doing that, or I say, yeah, you are doing that.
I hope you don't mind that I'm like constantly analyzing your friendship to affirm what you already know. Part of probably why it doesn't come up so much anymore after this point, all these years, you probably subconsciously just let a lot of things go because you accept each other and love each other so much. So you kind of go, okay, Sonny always has to drive. Or, I mean, Jen, one of you was
yes, exactly.
You just like accept.
Things that you don't care enough about. If somebody
Right.
really cares, you really want to go there for dinner, or you really want to do this, I don't really care that much, right? Short list of what really matters.
If there's real issues, that's going to get talked about. And that's what every good friend should feel comfortable. Even if it's not easy and it's not comfortable, you got to do it.
We're pretty agreeable with each other. If there's a super strong opinion about something, that person, unless it's clearly ridiculous and not valid, then the other person's like, okay, fine, let's do that. Who cares? Like,
Pretty easygoing, and we know each other really well.
Yes.
That's what years does do.
You get to know each other. You look over things that don't matter that much. And my mom always gave me that advice too. She's 80 and she's maintained a lot of friendships for many, many years. And that's always been her big thing too. Whoever cares more. Same in marriage, by the way. So sometimes one person cares more and you're like, okay, like everyone doesn't have to win everything. Sometimes you just
choose, right? If it does, it just, you got to be able to weigh things out.
Exactly. It's about picking and choosing. My outlook on friendship is very different at 58 than it was even at 38. I always put a lot of stock in friendship. If I love you with every ounce of blood inside of me. But if I don't, I don't have space. There's no room filler here. But the older you get, you realize how important these good friends are. They're little treasures. I know I'm so lucky to have, and I will take care of them. And even if it means not doing something I want to do or vice versa, but it's to do it for a friend, just to be with them.
We have to be
We're
inconvenienced.
moving into the old age home together. We've already decided that.
Yeah, I mean, it
wouldn't
would
we?
be so easy.
God willing, why wouldn't we?
That was potentially a good last word, but I just wanted to give you each a chance. If there's like a final thing you just want to say to the listeners who are hoping to be able to maintain a friendship for as long as you both have.
You've got to nurture it. It sounds like such a cliche. You've got to nurture it. To have a great friend is to be a great friend. And it really is as true as it gets. Sometimes it takes years and it takes a little wisdom to realize you can't be selfish if you're expecting amazing friendship. You've got to be able to deliver and have your heart in the right place when it comes to the people in your life that really matter.
But also another thing I want to say, it doesn't have to be the 40-year friendship. Yes, this is special. But I have been super lucky in the past few years through my kids and their college experiences. And I've met one woman in particular who was my daughter's roommate in college. The daughter was in the roommate, and we just met. And I say to her, I feel like I grew up with her. Our values align. She always says the right thing. We don't live near each other and we don't speak all the time, but the comfort level I have with her, and she's the biggest cheerleader, and she's a well-wisher, and she's funny, and she's smart. And so it doesn't have to be 40 years is what I'm trying to say. If you are open to meeting new people and seeing people who are like you and like-minded, they're out there.
By the way, not everybody is. Not everybody is open to new friendship. We know,
Right.
I'm sure you, right? You know this. There are people that say, at this stage of my life, I'm not looking for new friends.
I wasn't looking for this friend. I always say to her, I wasn't looking for a new friend, and you came along. She's like my bonus friend.
You guys, this was so fun for me. It's amazing to watch somebody for a couple years and feel like you know them, but then get the chance to actually ask the questions you want to ask. Like a lot of people probably talk to you about business and all kinds of things. We did a little, but my passion is helping people with their friendships, people struggling out there. So this is really great advice. I appreciate it so much.
Who's ever listening, who's in the Miami area on Thursday, December 4th, we have dear founder, Lindsay Pinchuk. She's the moderator. Sunny and Jen are the guests. And it is, I mean, men are welcome to come, but it really is a GNO. And it is a fun girls' night out, if you guys don't know what GNO is. And it's talking about friendship and going through this stage of life, 40s, 50s. And a lot of like-minded women come to these events and they all start talking and everyone's laughing. And it's
A great night out.
It looks like so much fun. You were in Chicago not that long before I did my show in Chicago. And as I told Pam, Jen, I'm from Highland Park. I live in Minneapolis. So that's why I did my show in Highland Park too. And I was like, oh, I should be there. And then my assistant producer came to your Bethesda show. And then she was the one, I will say, she pushed me, Rebecca, because I've been talking about you guys for a while. And she's not really on social media, but she knows about you from me. And she's like, Nina, they said in that show that they're open to more podcasts. This is the time. Ask them. And I'm like, okay. So I did.
We are thrilled that you asked us. This was a great.
Yes, we are. The feedback from these shows, these women, they're fun. They're smiling. They're laughing. We all need that.
Little
Smiling,
inspiration,
laughing.
a little laughter,
Yes.
late night out, treat yourself. We all need to do more of it.
There's no downside to that.
Go see Sunny and Jen in person. And I'm going to tell you, too, how I end every single episode. And most guests agree. I tell everyone to come back next week because when our friendships are going well, we are happier all around. Thank you.
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
Yeah, it's so nice meeting you, Nina.
Nice to meet you.